Hi, everybody. This is One Cool Thing with PCMag.com. I'm Sasha Segan, and this is Dave LeClaire with the Google Pixel 6a. Rotate that Pixel 6a a bit for people, Dave.
Look at that beautiful, beautiful Pixel 6a and its nice, shiny, sagey color.
The back is so pixely. It looks just like the other Pixels, right?
Yeah, it looks just like the Pixel 6. It's got the little bar going across it so you can really stand out from the crowd.
Does the bar stick out like it does on the Pixel 6?
It does. It's got let's see if I can get an angle here. It's a tiny little bit of depth to it, but yeah, you can see my finger is stopping on the ridge there. So it does stick out a tiny bit. I mean, it's not enough that it's like, I wouldn't see it being a problem, at least not for me personally. But I mean, if you think about it, most phones have some kind of sticking out the back. You know, my iPhone right here has got 3 bumps sticking out the back. So who wants a completely flat back phone? That's so what did I just open? That's so boring.
So now this is in your hand. It looks like it's fitting pretty well in your hand. How does its size compare to the other Pixels, especially?
It's a little bit smaller, though. To me, it feels absolutely tiny because I'm used to using generally like larger phones, and I just came off reviewing a really big phone, which you can find that review on PC Mag. That was the Asus ROG Phone 6. That thing is a monster. So this feels like a little child's phone in my hand right now. Uh, but I would say, yeah, it's a little bit smaller, but it's not as small as like the S22, which is the go-to small phone right now in the Android space. But it's among the smaller phones out there.
So spec wise, how is it comparing to the 6? What are you getting on the 6 that you don't get here? Because this is supposed to be the lower cost mid-range version, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot of sacrifices. It still has Google's chip in it, so you still have your Tensor chip. And in terms of all the benchmarks, it scored just about the same as the regular Pixel 6, only a tiny bit lower in a couple different categories. Probably because you're getting slightly less RAM. You're getting 6 gigs of RAM here, so that's the main sacrifice. But in terms of like overall power, it's really hard to spot much difference between this and the more expensive Pixels, which I found kind of refreshing and surprising. But that was kind of the case with the Pixel 5a as well. It scored very similar to the Pixel 5. Google seems to do a really good job of making the cuts in the right places that don't really affect performance too much. So yeah, you're really not going to notice like a huge difference. It's mainly the screen is the biggest thing. It's the smaller screen with the lower resolution, but the actual performance, it's pretty on par.
So how about the camera? A lot of people come to the Pixels for the camera. So how does this camera compare to the Pixel 6?
So you're going to get the same software that makes the part of what makes the Pixel camera so good. You're going to get all the features that you'd get, but it's a 12.2 megapixel sensor instead of a 50 megapixel sensor on the full-size Pixel 6. So that's one of the big places where Google definitely had to make some cuts. They had to get that price down. You want to get that $450 price tag compared to 600 bucks. Somewhere's got to give. The camera is definitely the biggest place where things change. However, this still takes some really, really good photos. And if you look at them side by side with the Pixel 6, unless you're like really trained eye and you're able to spot those kinds of very minute details, you're not really going to be like, oh man, these pictures are much worse. Like it's still a really good camera, and Google software does a really good job of compensating and making the pictures look just about as good.
So this is a Pixel, and along with the camera, another reason people like to buy Pixels is because of the version of Android on here. Now, does this launch with 12 or 13?
This launches with 12, but it's going to get 13 quickly because, you know, Pixel phones always get the latest versions of Android before anybody else does. Because, I mean, it makes sense. Google wants to give its own phones the new versions as soon as they're ready. So you'll get it quickly, but right now it's out of the box. It's Android 12.
And it's now, what's the Android experience like on here? I mean, especially compared to, you said you were just testing a ROG phone and you've used the Samsung phones. And because I feel the Android experience, the particular experience on Pixels is a reason that people get Pixels.
Yeah, I mean, it's the pure Android experience. It doesn't come with bloatware and unnecessary stuff. I mean, you get the Google apps pre-installed. You have your YouTube, your Google Drive, Gmail. You have that kind of stuff. And otherwise, it is just a very clean, very fast, streamlined version of Android that, if you like the people who like Samsung UI, they really like it, and it does some stuff for them that they enjoy, and that's fine. But I have always been on the Pixel stock Android side of the fence, and there's just something so clean about launching a new Pixel, and you just see, your basic Google apps and nothing else on your home screen, and it is like a blank canvas that you can do what you want with and make it your own phone, and you don't have all the stuff that they said, well, you want to have this to start with. It's like, no, I want what I want. And that's what you get with a Pixel. And this does the same experience as the more expensive ones. And that's really the cool thing.
That's pretty great. Just all around having so close an experience in a mid-range phone to those phones which are considered to be closer to flagships or flagships.
It's the one thing, it's one of the many things that Google really does right with this phone, is that you don't feel like a second grade citizen when you get a 6A. You feel like you have a Pixel.
Okay, so the Pixel 6a sounds like a really good mid-range phone. What do you know about where it's coming out, how people can get it, how much it's going to cost?
So you're going to be looking at $449. You can buy it right through Google. Amazon is going to have it as well if you'd like to buy your things on Amazon. It's available for pre-order now when this video comes out, so you can go and pre-order it. $449 is going to get you 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, so you got plenty of room, but there is no micro SD card slot, so you can't make it bigger with storage, which is a bit of a drawback if you are the type of person who fills up your phone. But if you're buying a Pixel, you're probably invested in the Google system. You probably have plenty of space on the cloud. You can store everything in your drive and not really have to worry about storage space too much.
Okay, so that's the Google Pixel 6a, a new leading mid-range phone from Google. We're going to have a full review up on PCMag.com, already up by the time you see this. Please take a look at PCMag.com for more details. Thanks a lot for watching.